Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Which are the top destinations if you're looking to invest in property? Where will you find homes that will suit your budget? Can you expect future appreciation in that area that you've zeroed in on? We'll get answers to all your questions right here on Property Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan, on Magicbricks Now. Today we are answering questions related to buying, selling, or investing in property. With me is Mudassir Zaidi. Now, Mudassir is the National Director, Residential Agency at Knight Frank, and he's joining me from Delhi. Mudassir, welcome to the show.
Hi Kavita, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Long time. Let's move to our first question. Neeraj Panchal has written in on Twitter. Now, Neeraj says that he wants to know about the future of Taloja, keeping in mind the upcoming metro rail and BKC2 in Kharghar for end use. Now, Mudassir, we know that Taloja for long has been considered the poor cousin, the country cousin of Kharghar, but of late there has been a lot of movement in the Thane-Belapur belt. Will Taloja benefit from that?
See, I agree. Overall, Taloja will definitely benefit. The overall shift towards Navi Mumbai and the entire Thane-Belapur belt is quite strong. One is because in the MMR region, it is largely Navi Mumbai which has land right now and accessible land with infrastructure where a lot of office as well as residential development can come about. And in fact, our report which came out a month ago or so, we had actually mentioned this particular region as one major area where a lot of employment will be basically developed. So we expect about 300,000 jobs to be created in this general area, and people tend to travel, and especially in Mumbai and Navi Mumbai, people tend to travel up to about an hour or so. So I think Taloja will benefit. Employment generation will be there. The metro is coming up. They want to really create office infrastructure to a large extent out here. The airport has been in the offing for quite a long time. A lot of things put together, which is infrastructure, employment, availability of office space, availability of residential space. I think it should do well.
Right. Mudassir, rates currently are averaging around 4,475 rupees per square foot. They have run up 4% in the last 1 year. How much of an appreciation do you see coming Taloja's way if one were to buy property at these levels and hold on for another 5 years at least?
See, we have in that area, in fact, we had actually pointed out Ulve as the main destination in that area. So in that particular area, we said that Ulve will almost double in the next 5 years. So the general vicinity, which will also be positively affected, my sense is if Ulve can go up by about 100% on 5 years, this should in the next 5 years or so be slightly lower than that, but definitely quite healthy. So it may be in the range of about 60% plus in about 5 years. So on an average, about 10-12% a year or so is what my sense is.
60% in 5 years, not a bad deal at all, Neeraj, if you're looking to invest in Taloja. In fact, Mudassir used the magic word double for Ulve, which is not a word most experts use in property markets today. So, yeah, you are on to a great location. Go ahead and invest. If you need any help, get back to us. We have Nikit who's called in now. Nikit, go on, tell us what's your question.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Nikit, tell us what's your question.
Yeah, my query was I was actually wanting to invest near Mira Road, Bhinder or Dahisar. But that investment was in a joint property kind. Like I and my parents wanted to invest together. So my query is like, what are the suitable good properties to invest in these areas?
Nikit, could you help us?
I wanted to invest as an investment purpose and not live in there.
Okay, great. You're looking for investment, Nikit. Can you tell me what's your budget?
Budget is up to 60 lakhs, but we are like we are planning to give a down payment of up to 30, and the remaining that would be covered in loan.
Okay, 60 lakh rupees is his budget. 30 lakhs is what he already has to give as down payment. Mudassir, what would you suggest? Which market should he go with? Mira Road, Bhayandar or Dahisar? Where will he get properties within his budget? And where can he get good returns?
See, I think Mira Road is now a pretty established market. Dahisar obviously is a little before or slightly towards the southern side as compared to Mira Road, but Mira Road and Bhayandar are now pretty much established markets. However, what Neeraj is looking at in about 60 odd lakhs, I think in Mira Road and Bhayandar you can get 1 BHKs to 2 BHKs in that range. In Mira Road East, my sense is 1 BHK roughly would be in the range of about 40 to 45 odd lakhs. About 600 odd square feet or so, and possibly you can get decent options available in 60 lakhs for a 2 BHK as well. There are a lot of smaller developers in that area, so I at the moment I don't want to really point out any one name at the moment. There are, at least in Dahisar etc., there are larger developers available, maybe Lodha etc. you can look at, but the pricing would be slightly higher. But towards Mira Road there are smaller ones. Maybe one developer that I can possibly look at is Asmita, who has developed quite a number of projects in that area. But I would suggest that you actually go there, see a few things that you like, and then possibly commit to something. If you have 50% of your investable amount as down payment, this is in today's times where a lot of developers, especially in the suburban areas, are quite cash strapped. You can definitely drive a good deal, because at this moment people just want sales happening, or other developers just want sales happening, and if you've given a decent amount of cash flow right at start, I'm sure you can definitely drive a good bargain in terms of the basic sales price.
Right, Nikit. So look at Mira Road, look at Mira Road East. You'll probably find even a 2 BHK within your budget. Dahisar, however, would be a tad out of your budget, is what Mudassir says. And if you can look at your screen right now, that's the rate for Mira Road. It's averaging around 7,458 rupees per square foot. Prices have run up 7% in the last 2 years. So quite a bit of appreciation in the flat market over there. So you can look at that market, and that's Dahisar there for you, 10,200 rupees per square foot. Like Mudassir said, it would be a tad over your budget. However, if you do have 50% of your money ready, use that and drive a good bargain in the market. However, do your due diligence before you sign anything, any papers. And that's Dahisar West for you over there, 13,862 rupees per square foot. The eastern parts of the city are far reasonably priced as compared to the western parts. Moving on, we have Vinayak who's called in. Vinayak, tell us what's your question.
Yeah, good evening, Kavita, and good evening, Mudassir.
Good evening, Vinayak. Tell us.
First, I would like to congratulate Magicbricks and ET Now for coming up with such a good initiative. And my query is that I've invested in a property in Amanora Park Town in Pune in the year 2016. I've bought an apartment of 1,066 square feet for about 68 lakhs. So I just wanted to know what are the prospects of appreciation in future, and should I hold on or should I sell it? Thank you.
Okay, so Vinayak bought property in January 2013 in Amanora Park Town in Pune. Mudassir, should he hold or should he sell? He's almost reaching the end of he has reached the end in fact of the capital gains period. So if he sells now, it will be long-term capital gains tax. But has he made a profit on it?
See, as a general rule, at the moment for people who have bought in the last 2 or 3 years, and if you've taken a loan on the overall property, on a net effective basis, I don't think you would have made money. The property prices would have gone up, but on an average level, they would have gone up in the range in single digits only. And in the last 3 years or so, if you've taken 75 to 80% loan on that at 9.5%, 10% or so, net effective basis, I don't think, as I said, you would have made money on this. However, our expectation is that in the next 2 to 3 years' time, the slowdown cycle should start coming to an end. I can't really immediately say that it's going to happen in the next 6 months or so, but if you look at the last 3 years, prices really haven't come down, but they haven't gone up significantly as well. We were used to pre-2012 times, barring maybe a year in between 2008 and 9, but used to between 15 to 25% returns on a year-on-year basis. So that obviously hasn't happened. And so my sense is we've almost are at 3 to 4 years of the slowdown cycle. Generally, these cycles last 5-6 years. Maybe in another couple of years, if you hold on, you should have significant appreciation coming in. The area is now settled and will become more progress, as in more better as we go on. So my sense is the appreciation should be far better in the next couple of years. My suggestion would be that you should hold on rather than wanting to exit at the moment.
So Vinayak, hold on to the property for another couple of years. Mudassir, it was interesting how you linked, the appreciation with interest rates and made a quick calculation as to whether or not he would have actually recovered the kind of money he's put into it. Could you give our viewers, could you break it down a little for our viewers? What is the minimum appreciation that you should be getting year on year from your property if you plan to actually sell it, say within 3 years or within 5 years? How do you know that you have actually made a profit?
So Kavita, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, in a year, if you take, for example, a 75 to 80% loan on the property, so currently the best interest rate available would be at 9.5 for women and 9.6 for men. In earlier times, it was upwards of 10%, 10.5 was the general rule, and even higher some time back. So in today's time, if I were to buy something at, for example, 9.5%, or maybe just for ease of calculation, 10%. So if I take 75% as the loan amount, then you're actually incurring about 7.5% on the overall thing, on the overall cost of the property as your cost of holding that. So on the overall property, if you're not at least making 7.5% a year, that's the break-even point as a simple calculation. You should be the property should be appreciating, at a level of what you're paying in terms of interest on the loan that you're carrying. So that's a simple calculation that one needs to have in mind. But properties, obviously, over a long period of time.
Yeah, so to put it very simply, Mudassir, what you're saying is that the property that I've bought should be appreciating at least the same, if I'm paying, say, 9.5% interest rate, my property should be appreciating at least 9.5% year on year, give or take 0.5%. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be a benchmark.
But you're not taking 100% loan, so you're not incurring 9.5% on the entire loan. Maybe the 25% that you carry is free of interest. So as I said, 75% of 9.5% would be what at least somebody should be, or rather having a property that should appreciate at that number for him to be breaking even on that. But as I said, in the longer term, properties do appreciate more than that. If that wouldn't have happened, people wouldn't have been holding properties ever. In the short term, it obviously makes far more sense for people to actually to rent a property, because your rental yields are in the range of 1.5 to at the max 3%. So you incur, for the cost of property, you just incur rent at about between 1.5 to 3%. So in the short term, it does make sense to rent, but in the long term, the appreciations are far higher, and especially after your loan gets over, etc. If you've held on to a property for a long period of time.
Right, Mudassir. So essentially, net you would have made a profit only if your property prices are appreciating at least as much as the rate of interest that you're paying. A little lesser than that is okay. But it should at least be appreciating by that much. Only then you would have actually made some kind of a profit in the short term. We have Eknath who's called in now. Eknath, go on, tell us what's your question.
Yeah, madam. I have booked a property in Anandnath Developers in Diva, madam. I have bought 2 units. My query is regarding appreciation of the investment, one, and authentication, madam. Is that legal property? Anandnath Developers, they are developing 15 floors building.
Anantnath, you said, right? In Diva.
Yeah, developers in Agasan, Diva, Thane, Diva.
Okay, okay. So you want to know whether it's legal and what is the appreciation you can expect over there. Mudassir, what do you have to say? Diva has been in the news for a lot of illegal constructions. So Eknath is being very cautious over here.
No, I understand. At least from the face of it, it seems a decent project to look at. However, I at the moment can't comment on the legality per se of this particular developer. From the face of it, what I understand, even though I'm not very active in this particular area, but from the face of it, the project plans, etc., seem to be there. In terms of what they wanted to basically build out there in terms of amenities, in terms of design, in terms of layouts, they all seem to be decent enough or so. But whether they are fully legal, etc., I'll have to actually study it in detail to give a sense on those aspects. From a cursory look, I can't really make a comment on it.
Tell us this.
But if the other part of the question, which is the
tell us this then, let's help Eknath like this.
Yeah, Kavita.
I'm sure Eknath is willing to do a little bit of homework over there. What are the things that he should be looking for if he does choose to buy into this property? And are there any particular issues that should be raising red flags, especially when you're looking to buy properties? How do you check the legality?
See, in any project, you just need to look at whether the approvals, etc., are in place. So for any kind of project to be started off, the IOD and the CC should have been in place. As per the current laws, no developer can launch any project without at least this basic 2 approvals in place. After which all other approvals, etc., can still be received. But IOD and CC has to be in place. I'm sure if you look at it from the government authorities, you can definitely get a sense on whether these have been issued or not. And you should, from what the person said, I heard him saying that he's already bought 2 units. So as a buyer, that you've already invested in it, then you should definitely have the right to ask for whatever approvals that the developer has got to be actually told to you, and you should actually go and check that from the developer side as well. If the developer is not supportive in that, you can definitely check it from the authorities as well. But IOD, CC should be in place, and other approvals, etc., should be following as well.
Right, so Eknath, ask the developer for the IOD CC. If he does not give it to you, then that should in itself be enough of a red flag for you to consider, to reconsider investing in the property if you have not already bought into it. Apart from that, also ask the developer what are the other permissions that they already have in place and what are the permissions that they are applying for. These are basics that these are basic questions that you should be asking. Do your due diligence, get a lawyer to go over your agreement and then sign the dotted line. We have Rishabh Kushwaha who's tweeted into us. He says he's planning to buy a property in Golf City, Sector 75, Noida. He says that he's heard about some issues regarding this project. He wants you to give feedback on this project from a legal perspective. Mudassir, that's a major issue where a lot of home buyers are getting stuck because it's as a home buyer, it's really difficult to access things like clearances and approvals and get to know if your project is safe from a legal standpoint.
See, at least in Noida, where this project is situated, the authority basically acquires land and then leases it to the developer. So at the start, at least, it is safe. It is safe, So there aren't any issues as such in terms of whether they've acquired it properly, not acquired it, and all that. Even though we've had problems with the authorities as well, but largely it is safer. However, what happens is when that gets leased to the developers who further develop it and then sell it out. So it's actually a transfer of lease technically rather than a freehold property, but that's fine. What happens is, at least in times where the market is in a slowdown, developers generally wait for, especially in Noida, where they have to pay, for the land in about 10 installments over a period of time. Developers generally wait for customer advances to get those monies and pay it forward. They have some money. They might not have the entire chunk to pay off for the next 10 years, but they have some money to kind of pay for the first 3-4 installments or so. But then they wait for the customer advances. The problem happens is when the market slows down, they're not able to sell well, or even if they've sold, they're not able to get the cash flows that they wanted or as they had anticipated, and then the payments to the authorities get delayed. And when that gets delayed, the permissions, etc., start getting affected, which is what my sense is happening in this project as well. So the deliveries and all, there is some development that has happened. We have seen towers come up on this particular project. But from what I understand from recent times is that the work has gone slow. And not much is happening at the moment there. My sense is there is amounts to be paid to the authorities as well. But if they obviously clear off those and they have enough cash flows, then this project will eventually go through. So my sense is it's still a cash flow issue rather than any other legal issue as such. But obviously, it's the permissions, etc., are linked to payments being made to the authorities.
And that would eventually tell on deliveries as well. So then should Rishabh just play safe and not invest in that? Would that be the advice you would give him?
See, best is to speak to the developers to understand what are their kind of payment milestones, etc. What are they doing about it, etc. And get a sense on it. If that's happening, then should not be a problem, because it's not an absolutely early stage project. There is some development that has already happened, and there are multiple players, multiple people who've already bought there, etc. So it will see the light of the day, but the entire question is whether it will get delayed further and whether they'll have any other problems with the authorities, etc. That's something to be evaluated, and that due diligence has to be done. Otherwise, the options, obviously, there are far other options available that he can actually look at as well. So, but that due diligence has to be done quite intensively, and especially if he's already heard, if he's asking this question, he already knows that there are certain issues that he can anticipate, and only after going into the depth of it should he take a call on it.
Okay, so Rishabh, you're right, there are certain issues there. The developers are lagging behind on certain payments. However, if you do plan to invest, go in with your eyes and ears open, do your due diligence, speak to the developers, and then take that decision. We have Lakshmi Narayana now who's called in. Go on, tell us what's your question.
Madam, first of all, I have to congratulate you that tremendous information we are getting from your Magicbricks.
Thank you very much. Tell us what's your question.
My question is, I actually am planning to purchase PLOT plot around some Bongir nearer to Hyderabad. One thing. Second thing is either at Medchal. That is also nearer to Hyderabad. And otherwise, among these two, one more thing, near Chennai, near Tambaram, from Tambaram 20 kilometers away, that two builders, they are selling that plots in the venture plots. Which will be correct, madam, whether I have to invest near Chennai or Hyderabad near Bongir, which is the Yadagurutta, the important temple that been...
Right. Okay, Lakshminarayana, we are nearing the end of our show. Let me get in Mudassir very quickly. Plot near Tambaram in Chennai or near Bongir in Hyderabad. Which would you pick?
I would actually go for Hyderabad at the moment. Chennai, because of the natural calamities that they faced, at the moment the real estate there is a little reeling under pressure. People are not in the mood to really invest or do too many transactions out there. My sense is the Vongir area, between Hyderabad and Warangal on that highway is definitely a far better bet at this moment. The properties there, plots are reasonably priced also. My suggestion is that you should go for Vongir.
Okay, Lakshmi Narayana, Bongir in Hyderabad it is. That's where you should probably be betting on. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Property Hotline. Mudassir Zaidi, thank you very much for joining me on this show and answering all those questions. If you have any feedback or suggestions that you'd like to share, any questions that you want to ask, do get in touch with us. You know how to do that. You can write in through email, through Facebook, on our website www.mbnow.in. You can tweet to me. I'd love to hear from you, or simply call in live like all the other callers you saw on this show. Thank you very much for watching. Keep watching Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mbnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.